I remember the night vividly. The music was loud, the lights were flashing, and I was feeling invincible. I was dancing, laughing, and living for the moment. But then we ran out of cocaine. My friends and I pooled our money and asked around. Someone pointed to a scrawny man in a beige leisure suit. "It's good stuff," he assured us. We believed him and bought a gram. Back at the table, we started snorting it. My friend, an experienced dealer, frowned after his first line. "This is nothing. It's worthless," he said, tossing his rolled-up bill in frustration. I didn't want to believe we'd been duped. It numbed my gums after all. I thought maybe if I snort the whole pile I'll feel something. So line after line I took it all. By the time I finished, I was feeling odd but not high. I shouted to my friend over the pounding music, "I'm going to the bathroom." As I made my way there, my vision began to change. Tiny red speckles danced in the corners of my eyes. It was like static on an old TV screen. I thought, this must be a side effect of bad cocaine. Cool. But by the time I reached the stall, my vision had narrowed to a tiny tunnel, and I couldn't read the graffiti on the walls. Worst of all, I couldn't breathe. It felt like all the air in the bathroom had been sucked out. I gasped, desperate for relief, but it was as if my lungs weren't working. I stumbled out of the bathroom, back into the pulsing chaos of the club. My chest was tight, and every breath felt useless. I found my date and grabbed his arm. "There's no air in here," I told him. He looked at me confused. "It's fine," he said, dismissing me. I was furious. How could he not see what was happening? He led me to the bar, where the bartender handed me a glass of water. I didn't want water, I wanted air. But I took a sip anyway, hoping for something, anything. And then everything changed. It felt like a punch to my chest. An immense force, as if Popeye himself had hit me. In an instant, I was no longer in my body. I shot upward, soaring out of myself and away from the suffocating panic. Suddenly I could breathe again. I felt light, free, and unburdened. There was no more pain, no more struggle. For the first time in forever, I was at peace. As I ascended, I left the club, the city, and even the earth behind. Below me, the lights of Manhattan faded, replaced by an endless ocean that stretched to the horizon. The sky above was a perfect, cloudless blue. I felt an irresistible pull to dive, so I arched back and plunged toward the water. Isn't water like concrete from this height? I wondered briefly, but I wasn't afraid. I hit the surface, and instead of pain there was beauty. Bubbles surrounded me, shimmering and dancing as I moved effortlessly through the water. In the distance, I saw a weathered house perched atop a mesa. Called to me. I need to get there, I thought. Before I could process how, I was already at the door, hovering slightly above the threshold. I felt no weight, no body, just awareness. Crossing into the house felt sacred, like stepping into a space that held the secrets of eternity. Inside, I realized this was the house of my ancestors. Though I couldn't see them, I could feel them. Their presence was warm and welcoming. My grandparents, great-grandparents, and generations I had never known surrounded me. The strongest presence was my grandfather, a man I'd never met in life but now felt deeply connected to. I understood in that moment. I was walking the same path they had. It was humbling and profound. In one room, I expected to see a chair facing a massive picture window overlooking the ocean. But the chair was missing. Disappointment washed over me. How will I see the view? I wondered. As soon as the thought formed, something pulled me, not physically, but from the core of my being. It drew me across the room and out the window. I was flying again, this time over the ocean toward a radiant, blazing sun. Its light stretched across the water in a golden path that seemed meant for me. The sensation of flight was euphoric. But a skeptical voice in my mind asked, "Wait, is this real? Am I dreaming?" To my surprise, a deep, powerful voice answered, "More real than anything back there." I understood instantly. Back there meant my life as Louisa, the struggles, the insecurities, the endless effort to feel like I belonged. Compared to this, it all felt like a shadow. This was reality, pure, vivid, and undeniable. As I approached the sun, it grew larger and more intricate. I could see patterns within its surface, glowing and alive. I thought, am I going to burn up? But instead of being consumed, I passed through it and entered a realm of pure, brilliant light. The light wasn't just around me, it was within me, filled every part of my being. It was love. Infinite, unconditional, and overwhelming. For the first time in my existence, I felt completely known and accepted. I didn't have to prove myself or earn approval. This love wasn't general. It was personal. It knew every part of me, my flaws, my fears, and embraced me anyway. I became aware of a being holding me, cradling me like a child. In my mind's eye, the being appeared serene and radiant, seated in a meditative pose. It whispered, "You are so loved. You are so loved." Each word wrapped around me like a warm blanket, soothing every wound I didn't even know I had. I wanted to stay there forever. But then the being spoke again. "You can't stay. You're not done." "No," I screamed with everything I had. I wasn't ready to leave. I wanted to remain in the light, in the love, in the peace. But there was no arguing. I felt myself being pulled back, falling through blackness. When I opened my eyes, I was on the sticky floor of the nightclub. My vision was blurry, and the stick figure outlines of people sharpened into faces. The bartender was kneeling over me, having performed CPR for 3 minutes. "You were gone for a long time," he said. "We didn't think you were coming back." At the time I was embarrassed. I laughed it off, pretending nothing significant had happened. But deep down I knew the truth. He had given me a second chance. For years I tried to rationalize the experience. I told myself it was a hallucination, the result of oxygen deprivation. But no matter how much I tried to dismiss it, the memories wouldn't fade. The love I felt in the light was more real than anything I'd ever experienced. It took hitting rock bottom with alcoholism before I finally accepted what had happened. On January 29, 1995, I walked into an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting. I've been sober ever since. Now, I understand God is real, not as a distant figure in the sky, but as the essence of love and intelligence that permeates everything. My purpose is simple: to share that love, to make each encounter brighter. That's how I honor the gift I was given. A glimpse into the infinite, a reminder that love is the foundation of everything.